From a failed attempt at Minecraft Steve to an absolute LEGO supermodel, these are some of the worst design fails in all of LEGO history. First up, we have the LEGO Legends of Chima. This set was introduced in 2013 as a fantasy world inhabited by animal tribes. Despite its visually appealing designs, LEGO quickly realized that they hit the wall with this one, when the theme was struggling to maintain the interest of fans. It even had a TV series, but unfortunately they messed that up as well. The storyline was way too complex for children, and of course we all know children have the attention spans of goldfish. This show resulted in poor sales and ultimately led LEGO to end the production of Legends of Chima. You think that's bad though? Meet LEGO Galador. Galador is often considered to be one of, if not the biggest LEGO failure of all time. Let me explain why this guy had such a rough time. This thing right here is Galador. And yes, I'm calling it a thing because there's no way it deserves to be called a product. It was introduced in 2002 as both a toy and a TV show. And LEGO really can't make anything without turning it into a show, can they? It featured a unique building system with pre-made character parts, which were significantly different from traditional LEGO sets. As a result, Galador was born. Do you get why I didn't even call it a product? The difference from the standard LEGO experience was added on top of a terrible TV show, like a glued LEGO brick. It all contributed to its critical and commercial failure, making it one of the worst LEGO fails of all time. Galador, Defenders of the Outer Dimensions, was the first full TV show for a LEGO theme. The next LEGO theme to have a TV show was Ninjago, 9 years later in 2011. Since it took them so long to make another one, it really shows how cautious they were making another LEGO-themed show after Galador. I gotta admit it, I'm no expert on the Galador TV series. I only watched the first 2 episodes and found it really difficult to watch anymore. For the most part, the show was dry and slow, and only had like one moment of humor that I can recall. In contrast, Ninjago, Masters of Spin Jitsu, started with plenty of action and comedy, and kept going from there. To be honest, the failure of the Galador TV series was a real shame. The overall premise of the show wasn't too bad. While it was a very by-the-numbers TV series, some of the characters actually had good motivations and backstory, making it a decent competitor with Ninjago. Unfortunately, the show was not engaging enough for young audiences, so it ended up getting taken off the air. Now, let's take a look back in time to the early days of LEGO. Next up, we have the Fiber Optic multi-set. This set was another attempt at technological innovation, but one that never even had the chance to make profit. LEGO designer Mark Stafford explained some of the LEGO Group's more troubling times in a Reddit comment back in 2014. He said, the most shocking finding was about sets that included the LEGO Micromotor and Fiber Optic kits. In both cases, it costed LEGO more to source these parts than the whole set was being sold for. Every one of these sets was a massive loss leader, and no one actually knew, explained the LEGO designer. This means that every single copy of a Fiber Optic multi-set was a financial loss, no matter what. So it wasn't exactly a successful experiment. It contained 404 pieces and has several models, including a helicopter with a glowing jet engine, a speedboat with glowing spark plugs, dragster, and even a beetle. The fiber optics in this Technikit are actually clear plastic tubes that connect to a battery-operated LED light pack. These specialized parts cost more to produce than the entire set was being sold for. See where I'm going with this one? The idea was great, I gotta give credit to LEGO, but making fiber cables and a working engine in a toy for 3-year-olds? What were they thinking? I can't imagine how that conversation went in the meeting at the LEGO office. Up next is a failure that's bound to shock you. For some reason, LEGO decided to revive an obscure line from 1979 targeted at young girls, the Scala doll. One thing that kept the Scala doll line remotely attached to the LEGO brand was the some bricks in the playset. From 1997 to 1998, the bricks were in flower shapes that weren't even compatible with other LEGO sets. Look at this and tell me it doesn't look straight out of a horror movie. Up next is the LEGO Duplo line. LEGO's Duplo line is intended for children 1 to 5 years old and has been around since 1975. The Primo offshoot was intended for babies too young to even play with regular Duplo bricks. And unlike Duplo pieces, they were not compatible with regular LEGO pieces. On top of that, they looked like this. Get those things away from me. Primo was succeeded by LEGO Baby, which was phased out in 2005. And I really can't imagine why. LEGO sometimes gets in its way and tries to replicate famous products. With that being said, let me introduce you to the Znap. No, I didn't sneeze. That's literally the name of it. Znap was a theme introduced in 1998 that failed to pass into the new millennium. At first glance alone, it's clear that these sets were intended to replicate the success of another popular toy line. Znap used a variety of beams with some Technic connections to produce sets that could have been made more effectively with either standard Technic or system bricks. Sure, some of the beams were later found to be useful in LEGO builds, but not in any official products, showing that the theme failed to resonate with a lot of people. The Znap line was an obnoxious ripoff of the OG K'NEX, an American construction toy company that was founded in 1993. Like those of K'NEX, Znap pieces were much more elaborate than traditional LEGO bricks, and allowed for more architectural creations, like bridges. Ultimately, Znap proved to be a complete failure, not even lasting 2 years on the market. To make matters worse, LEGO even used those highly unprofitable Technic motors in some of the sets, causing them to lose even more money. Okay, enough about money. What if you can make your own minifigures soar through the air, all with the push of just one piece? Well, that was the idea that fueled the Super Jumpers project, a new element that came bundled with many LEGO superhero sets, from Marvel and DC, between 2015 and 2016. As enticing as that idea sounds, it turns out that these LEGO Super Jumpers were damaging minifigures with continued use. Some builders took to Reddit to warn others of the dangers, and eventually the bricks were pulled from any future sets, forcing them to retire early and minimize the risk of breaking some LEGO bones. Speaking of Reddit, these days, app stores are flooded with hundreds of thousands of free programs that provide entertainment, services, or just a way to pass the time, and a few of them have actually been published by LEGO. Which of them was the first? Well, it's actually LEGO Photo, which launched back in 2010 as the first piece of mobile software from the company. It had just one purpose: to transform your photos into a LEGO mosaic. Think of a more rudimentary version of the LEGO Mosaic Maker that we have today. Unfortunately, the results left some people out to dry. It may have been that the technology simply wasn't good enough to detect the finer lines of the photos back in the day. It was extremely pixelated, making it almost impossible to see what you were actually trying to make. What, you don't believe me? If you really want to see what it was like, here's a before and after picture I took with my dog. Yeah, not that great, huh? Next up, we have a LEGO Star Wars project that ultimately just ended up not working out. This great idea was to implement some electronics into a LEGO minifigure and have them hold a lightsaber that could then light up, all being compatible with the standard LEGO bricks. While this looks good on paper, in practice it turns out that there was one glaring issue that no one seemed to catch. What happens when the battery runs out? Well, as some fans discovered, you had to take apart the minifigure yourself with the electronics inside. Some people reported that doing this incorrectly could lead to serious injuries. After hearing this, it's no surprise that they didn't last past 2006, the same year that they were introduced. Seriously, dude, my dog can do a better job. Up next are the Aqua Raiders. The reason why the Aqua Raiders theme failed is because there is nothing fresh about this theme. No new pieces, no new ideas, just a whole bunch of stuff we've seen before in water themes. Somebody needs to teach these guys that copy-paste does not work like that. If it did, my little brother wouldn't be so dumb. While we're on the topic of themes, here's another one. This is the World Races theme. It's almost like other racer sub-themes in the past, only it's completely separate from everything that came before it. Most of the aspects of this theme were actually pretty good. All they needed to do was come up with the design elements and a little more backstory, and this theme could have been better than the dying theme of racers. Sometimes they barely missed the jackpot. Ben 10 is another failed theme. This theme went down because it came out right when the beloved Bionicle was being discontinued. People automatically assumed that Ben 10 was replacing Bionicle, and they really did not like that. They also were not interested in paying $15 for a singular figure that barely had any pieces. As a result, the theme did not do so well. Not only did it fail on the market, but it also failed to replicate the look. In my opinion, this does not really look like Ben 10. Another theme that had a similar outcome was Pirates of the Caribbean. It failed because they released it with the 4th movie, and after that, LEGO let it sink just like the Black Pearl. They signed a contract with Disney in 2012, so the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise felt that they were just throwing ideas at the wall to see what would stick. That's honestly a stretch though, because they only ever made one set. If LEGO had jumped on the idea during the 1st or 2nd movie, the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise probably would have been on board way earlier and way longer. Throwing out the theme with the final movie seemed unwise to me. Since LEGO waited so long to release it, the sales were slow, and without any more movies coming out, LEGO ran out of ideas, and their final attempt was the Black Pearl set. Now, I'm not positive about the financial issues with the theme, but when a new theme comes out and disappears so quickly, especially one that's a collab, you know there are some problems going on. All I can say is this theme did not end up working well. Our next lucky failure is the LEGO Factory Market Street. Well, I guess it's not lucky since it's a failure, but you know what I mean. The LEGO Group's Market Street is a massive part of the modular building set and was released in the year 2007. This set is actually really interesting though, because you can combine it using other buildings, including the pet shop, the Palace Cinema, the Grand Emporium, and the Cafe Corner. These could all be used in the creation of a town. The marketplace is one of the most miniature buildings, but it isn't easy to acquire because of the price. These modular buildings are part of the Creator Series. They're large, detailed, and they both merge correctly. All in all, there were about 9 sets, and most of them costed about $150 when they first released. Oh man, and they were doing so well. LEGO, no kid is buying that, and I doubt they'll be able to convince their parents. I guess this set wasn't really a design fail, but more of a financial fail. LEGO really has to step it up. Anyways, have you ever heard of Mr. Bunny? Mr. Bunny is a seasonal LEGO set from 2003 that depicts a lot of bunnies that are honestly just downright sinister. Remember the ones from the Monty Python movie? Yeah, kind of like that. This LEGO set allows you to construct a yellow bunny with a red hat, a red shirt, and blue pants. Believe me when I say, these would haunt your dreams for several years to come if you were a kid. I'm very sure several people feel Mr. Bunny is lovely, but I'm definitely not one of them. Right now, he is and is going to stay on my I don't want to see this list. Right after clowns. Up next is Jack Stone's Super Glide. This LEGO set has been talked about as one of the worst LEGO sets to ever exist, but I'll let you guys be the judge of that. One of the main reasons Jack Stone got his bad reputation was because of the way it was packaged. This LEGO set falls flat on its face. It has a Jack Stone minifigure, and then there's this cheap looking hang glider with about 5 different parts. The LEGO set was so horrible, I think they just decided to throw everything out. Wise move, LEGO. Up next is LEGO Jolly Santa, I think? This weird looking thing was released in the year 2017. Can anyone figure out what's up with his beard? Okay, before I go too hard, in LEGO's defense, it can definitely be a little difficult to recreate certain things with literal blocks. His beard looks a little bit too blocky, and it gives our Santa Claus an appearance that is far from jolly. It almost makes Santa look like the bad guy from your favorite movie. Tough break for Santa. The worst part is I've seen LEGO put out Santa minifigures that look 100 times better than this. I just hope that if they ever make another new LEGO Santa, they do him justice and make him the fat, happy man he is. For this last one, we have the Belleville Garden Fun Set. This set features a girl on a swing, so she should be having fun, right? Like several other Belleville sets, the main focus was to make this set a super bright pink. In theory, this set was probably received well. In reality, it's lacking in a lot of departments. Because of this, it really just looks like LEGO was lazy with this one. Even though swings can be a lot of fun, this set fails to resemble that at all. The girl looks like she's not having any fun playing on the swing. It's also pretty obvious that that cat right there is not enjoying itself either. Also, it looks like no one has ever given this girl lessons on how she can actually have fun and be safe on a swing. My parents, especially my mom, would never let me do something like this. Unless, of course, she wasn't around to see it. What was your favorite failure on this list? Be sure to let me know down in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe.